that tax cuts mainly help the wealthy and are adding to the federal deficit.
Developing right now in West Virginia, schools remain closed for all 55 counties in the state. That's because teachers are on strike for the 7th day in a row. ABC's Serena Marshall breaks down what the teachers are hoping to accomplish.
2, 4, 6, 8.
For an entire state, public schools remain shuttered, going on a second week. West Virginia teachers, fed up over low pay and mounting health care costs, walked out last week. As they continue pushing the state for a deal, thousands gathering, teachers, parents, and students with a message.
Knowing that I'm not going to get paid well, I like having good benefits. You never know what's going to happen.
The teachers say they are among the lowest paid in the country and haven't had a raise in 4 years. The governor and the teachers union thought they had a deal earlier this week, agreeing.
The teachers and all the educators are going to get a 5% raise in the first year, and everyone else is going to get a 3% raise across the board first year.
The state's House passed legislation Wednesday night, but the Senate's Republican majority refused to take it up. And it would have done nothing to solve the ever-increasing health care premiums the teachers face.
We're not here for money. We're here for better health care. If I get sick, if I can't be there, I can't perform my job.
Which has many teachers promising to keep to the picket line until the problem is solved.
The state Senate refused for a second time to take up the legislation, leaving it instead in the Senate Finance Committee, which means no deal and no end to the strike in sight. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
And today the world said goodbye to America's pastor one last time.
That they did. Around 2,000 people attended the North Carolina funeral to pay their final respects to Reverend Billy Graham. Sitting in the front row, as you can see here, for the memorial, President Trump and Vice President Pence. The ceremony featured special tributes from world leaders and Graham's own children. His eldest son, Franklin, read the eulogy.
Today, he's in heaven. His journey is complete. He often said, "I'm not afraid to die, for I know the joys of heaven are waiting."
Reverend Graham was laid to rest next to his wife Ruth during a private burial ceremony.
Well, floodwater, it's going down.
Yeah, some good news for so many folks, but there is a giant mess, of course, left behind. After the break, we're going to take you to Aurora and the manpower and supplies needed in that community.
A vicious storm hammering the East Coast. The elements millions of people are bracing for this weekend. Yikes. Steve.
Yeah, boy, what a difference it is around here. We've got the blue skies that are outside now, and it looks like we've got some nice weather ahead, too, for the weekend. But into next week, we've got some significant changes. I've got that 7-day for you coming up.
All right, and also regulating makeup, the possible changes ahead for the entire beauty and cosmetics industry next.
You're watching 9 on Your Side at 5.
Welcome back to 9 on Your Side. All weekend, we expect people in Aurora, well, they're going to be cleaning up. Flooding left behind a huge mess in and outside the homes there. You see some crews starting to clean up. Luckily, there are volunteers helping out right now with the task. Dan Carroll, in fact, reports on the cleanup effort from Chopper 9.
Well, here in Aurora, the call has gone out for volunteers, and that's what we are seeing right now. A group of individuals carrying some buckets and some other gear needed for cleanup along the Ohio River Scenic Byway. And look at the water's edge right there, right next to the road. And they didn't waste much time. As soon as that water got off the road, they're out here getting things cleaned up. The tool of choice for the fire department here, a fire hose to help wash down the sidewalk here. We saw this guy out on the street a little while ago, and he was hosing down the street with that fire hose. And here's another crew with the fire hose getting all that mud. That's one thing you don't realize when you see that flood water over the road is how much mud it deposits on the street. So this is a major cleanup effort by people who live here, and then the fire department doing their part. Right here is a house that is being cleaned up. All the windows are open. People in the front doing what they can to get some waterlogged furniture out of there. And right here we see a pump, probably pumping out a basement, just getting some more water out. I'm Dan Carroll in Chopper 9.
Definitely an ongoing process there. Volunteers are needed in southeast Indiana this weekend. There is another big cleanup plan tomorrow from 10 until 6 o'clock. Volunteers are asked to check in at the Aurora Lions Club at 228 2nd Street. please wear appropriate boots and clothing. If you can't volunteer but would like to help, feel free to drop off items like gloves, trash bags, mops, and water bottles.